Alright, man, Torture Talk. Like, share, subscribe to the page, hit the thumbs up button if you like the content. Yeah, man, so today we're going to be talking about a lot of musicians and hip hop artists are going to country now. And why is that? So we're going to watch a video, of course, and we're going to go through it. Also, too, let me get my spill. If you like the content, this is Torture Talk. Please consider subscribing. If you're not subscribed, you know what I'm saying? Let me work for your subscription. All the beautiful single ladies, put one in the chat. All the fellas, y'all know where to find the ones at. Just don't harass them. You know what I'm saying? Also, too, I don't sell no merch, but I do have content, and that's absolutely free. But if you want to leave a donation, links will be on the screen. Cash App, PayPal. Thank y'all for all y'all donations. I truly appreciate it. You don't understand, man. It changed my life, like for real. Also, too, they call me the hidden gem. I went from 1,300 subscribers to over 9,000. You know what I'm saying? And counting. I'm trying to get to 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I can do it. 1 million by next year. So let's get it, man. So we're going to go off of this joint and watch something that we'll be back to discuss. All right, so let's get it, man.
There are a ton of people watching right now that are like, I have never and I will never listen to country music. Or they say something like, I listen to everything except country. And once upon a time, I was one of those people too. But you know what's going to change that? Hip hop's influence. Hip hop has remained uncontested as the #1 genre coming close to a decade now. And I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. But there is no denying that country music is rapidly increasing in popularity in the mainstream. In the last 6 years, country music streaming has increased by 287%. And I believe that country music's popularity, as it pertains to the mainstream, has a lot.
Yeah, that's a fact. Like I said, I don't know what's going on over there in country music, but I know, you know, it's crazy. I know a lot of black people who like country music, but they just don't say it. I used to hang with this African woman, real close. We were real close, and she used to always tell me that she loved country music, and I used to never understand why. She'd be like, why she like country music so much? This is years ago. Then I start listening to it, and I said, it's actually not bad. They country music is one of those genres that they got something to say. It's something to say. It's kind of like old R&B, but it's just sung differently, if that makes sense. Country in the country music sense.
To do with the fact that they've been low-key stealing ever so slightly from hip-hop over the years. It is also evident that hip-hop and pop artists who have been dipping their toe in the genre is increasing its popularity. Big X The Plug, Lil Durk, Lil Uzi Vert, Kevin Gates, NLE Choppa, Post Malone, Beyonce, even Young Gravy are just a few of the many artists making country rap fusion songs. And if you're one of those people who will just never change their mind about country music, you do not represent the majority. And for all of you that are sort of on the fence, like you don't really prefer country music, but you don't necessarily have a problem with it, hip-hop and pop artists are gonna slowly put out crossover hybrid gems that are gonna change your mind over the next few years. Today I want to talk about hip-hop's sneaky influence on mainstream country music and how that's going to change the future of the genre. Now, we could go all the way back through the 60s, 70s, and 80s to hyper-focus on where the origins of country and hip-hop collided, but hip-hop's influence on mainstream country really started at the end of the 1990s. We all understand that country music has been marketed as the experience of life in the southern United States. Everything from their imagery to the...
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. I was gonna say that too. It's them country music is about, most of it is about life experiences from a child to a guy who's in love with a woman, and to a woman who's had a heart broke, and you know what I'm saying? That's what it is.
subject matter correlates to their life experience in the South. Yet at the same time, many influential hip-hop artists also come from the southern United States. However, their imagery and subject matter correlates to their life experiences growing up in urban environments of southern cities. And let's not ignore the obvious elephant in the room. Nearly all popular country artists in the 90s were white, and nearly all popular hip-hop artists in the 90s were black. Hip-hop originated in New York City. From there, it
That's true. Let's keep it going.
emerged in popularity in other urban or city environments throughout the United States. But for much of the 80s and 90s, largely in part of Biggie and Tupac's infamous beef, it was mostly understood as an East Coast and West Coast genre. However, there was an abundance of artists making great hip-hop music in the southern United States. UGK, 8-Ball and MJG, 3-6 Mafia, Goody Mob, Hot Boys. There are literally too many to name. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. But this is why Outkast was booed at the 1995 Source Awards when they won the award for Best New Artist, because they were from Atlanta and everyone was so tied up in the whole East Coast versus West Coast.
That's true. I mean, I said this on another, on my other, one of my other episodes. I said that I was really upset that Outkast won the award over Smith & Wesson back in the day, and I thought that Smith & Wesson was better until I went and listened to Outkast's discography, and I realized that, yeah, they were way better than Smith & Wesson. So, sorry, Smith & Wesson.
Thing.
Them closed-minded folks, you know what I'm saying? It's like we got a demo tape and don't nobody want to hear, but it's like this, the South got something to say. That's all I got to say.
While the East and West were fighting, the South was just working. And after the deaths of Biggie and Pac, there was an explosion in popularity of these Southern artists. Outkast, Jermaine Dupri, Juvenile, Big Timers, Fat Pat, Scarface, Devin the Dude, Lil Jon, Missy Elliott, Jeezy, Mike Jones, Slim Thug. I could keep going. But there's a strong argument to be made that some of the most influential hip-hop artists have actually originated from the southern United States, and they are without a doubt the most influential when it comes to the modern hip-hop sound. It was only a matter of time before someone would be inspired by and fuse these two polar opposite genres that both originated in the same area of the country. And I'm not saying that he is the first to do it, but perhaps one of the most mainstream artists to do it was Kid Rock. Now, Kid Rock is incredible.
I know a lot of y'all gonna hate that, but it's true. It's true. It's true.
Cringe, and his need to make everything political nowadays definitely sucks. The fact that he, one, grew up rich, which already kind of doesn't necessarily portray the lifestyle of somebody who grew up in the southern United States, and the fact that he grew up in Michigan, which is not in the southern United States, kind of made him the perfect candidate to steal these two genres that he felt so disconnected from and merge them together. Like, he was so
Holy Culkin right there. That's crazy. Let's go.
Disconnected from both of them that he was the perfect person to really combine them, because anybody who really grew up in it probably would have just picked either or. Like, I'm either going to do country or I'm going to do hip hop. And there's no denying that Kid Rock's music merged fans of rap, rock, and country together, which is highlighted perfectly in the 1999 track Cowboy, which sounds like a rap song due to the synthesized drums and hi-hats, as well as lyrics about moving to Los Angeles to become a pimp. It also features a blues harmonica, and of course the classic acoustic guitar, while showcasing that stereotypical Southern American imagery. Kid Rock is also very open.
Yeah, you get it. I really never really liked Kid Rock, but you gotta give him his respect. Gotta give him his respect. Like, for real.
About being inspired by Run DMC, and also look at how bro was dressing in 1999. It was blatantly obvious hip-hop was his fashion influence, and at the time, combining these genres and styles was considered fresh and innovative and exciting. It wasn't the best music. I'm not gonna say it was good or great. It was popular though, and although he wasn't exactly a country music artist, he had collaborated with and done shows with country artists, which allowed him to gain a lot of fans in that genre. Kid Rock's music undoubtedly led to other other artists seeing what he was doing and then becoming inspired to do the same thing, which kind of creates this chain reaction of people being inspired by one another until you get so far away that you don't even really know who inspired what, or when the genre lines just sort of blurred together. Like Bubba Sparxxx, who grew up living a country lifestyle in rural Georgia but grew to popularity by making rap music. His image was the stereotypical country boy, fat white guy wearing blue-collar clothes on the farm surrounded by other seemingly poor white people. But he was rapping, so as you can imagine, he attracted a large fan base of people that resonated with his image, but maybe they weren't necessarily hip to rap, or they didn't really.
Yeah, I forgot about Bubba Sparxxx. I forgot about him. Wonder if he yeah, I forgot about Bubba Sparxxx. There used to be another dude too. I can't remember his name. Let's go.
Like it, and he allowed them to get interested in it. He bridged that gap, but only for a short moment, because it's not like he was this superstar. Sure, he had one or two good songs, but yeah, the gimmick dried up kind of quickly. And I'm not trying to downplay Bubba Sparxx's career. I mean, he grew a strong fan base, slowly evolved his music and image, and his fans still rock with him 20 years later. So many artists don't know how to create that strong fan base that is going to fall in love with their music, which is why I created a music marketing newsletter called Tuned In, where I give the strategies that experts use to build a community of fans. After you pay for a membership at tunedin.marketing, or you can do it by clicking the link in the description, you will receive an easy to read email every Wednesday containing relevant music marketing advice like what to post on TikTok, what hashtags you should use, or general music marketing secrets that experts are using to gain more streams on Spotify and build a real fan base. If you want a strategic advantage over the millions of artists that are trying to be successful, let my team do the work for you and teach you how to market so you can focus on doing what you love to do the most: make music. The next monumental country rap crossover was in the 2004 collaboration of Nelly and Tim McGraw's Over and Over Again. This time the song sounds a tiny bit country, but if you listen to it, it really sounds like an R&B song. Even the music video is depicting two.
Nah, that sounds like a country joint. I ain't gonna sit here and lie. That don't sound like it. Sounds more country than R&B to me. It sounds much more country than R&B. Let's keep going.
Men who on the surface seem very different, but then convey both of them living the exact same lifestyle. This song peaked at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 and was a huge hit. And this is when you started to really see that hip-hop influence in mainstream country, like with the song Honky Tonk Badonkadonk by Trace Adkins, a song that is using the slang term badonkadonk, which was popularized in hip-hop by Missy Elliott's use of the word in her 2002 song Work It.
Or not to stare at that honky tonk.
Trace's music video looks like a stereotypical hip-hop video with girls everywhere shaking ass in a club. He is also wearing 4-finger rings, a staple of 90s rap culture. Even the idea of a country artist making an entire song about girls' asses was kind of new, but as we all know, was not even close to new in hip-hop. This track peaked at number 2 on the US Hot Country Songs chart, and number 35 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart, and number 33 on the Pop 100 chart. As cringe as this song is, it was a smash crossover hit. And I know that there are country music fans.
Honky tonk, badonkadonk. Honky tonk, badonkadonk.
Watching right now that are like, this isn't real country music, this is a joke. We know. We're talking about the mainstream. The same thing can be said about rap fans. When Soulja Boy popped off, they were like, this is not hip hop. Like, every genre experience is the same thing. We're talking about the mainstream here. Then in 2010, you had Dirt Road Anthem by Jason Aldean, where he is very poorly rapping.
Spread like I know something y'all don't know. Man, that talk is getting old. You better.
This song was floating around number 33 on the Billboard Hot 100 before a remix was released with Ludacris in June, which got many crossover fans, then launching the song all the way up to number 7 on the Hot 100. Then you have Florida Georgia Line, who came into country music with an overt love for autotune, an effect that was embraced and popularized in hip-hop, mostly by T-Pain, and also an effect that was kind of demonized in country music, at least in the beginning. The 2012 song Cruise by Florida Georgia Line reached number 16 on the Billboard Hot 100 on its initial release. But then it dropped off the Hot 100 in February of 2013. A couple months later, a remix by rapper Nelly was released, and the song re-entered the top 10, peaking at number 4 on the Hot 100 chart in its
Damn, man, hip hop is powerful, man. It's a powerful genre, man. It's pulling people, putting people back on the charts. Very powerful, man. This is crazy. I love this.
34th week. This proves that the acceptance and the crossover of hip-hop in country was necessary for this song's popularity and success. It also proved that mainstream country fans do like hip-hop influence, since the song stayed 24 weeks at number 1 on the Hot Country Songs charts. For a long time, the stereotypical country song could be described as a white guy singing over a string instrument, wearing a cowboy hat while driving a truck on a dirt road. But the modern country artists are literally rapping over trap beats with 808s while wearing their sports cap backwards in the club or at a house party. From the beats to the videos to the auto-tune use to the way they dress, some modern country is more hip-hop than it is country. And since modern country is so clearly hip-hop inspired, then why is there so little BIPOC representation? This question got amplified to new heights when Lil Nas X blew up for his smash hit Old Town Road. You know, the longest running #1 song of all time at 19 weeks in a row? Lil Nas X tagged the song as country when uploading it to streaming services. Old Town.
Not true. Is he talking about country? Because I think the longest running song at #1 is Blinding Lights by The Weeknd. And I think that was 48 weeks or something like that. But maybe he's talking about like country. So let's go.
Road debuted in the 19th spot on the March 16th edition of Billboard's Hot Country Songs chart, but the following week it was gone, having been moved to the Hot Rap Songs chart, where it entered at number 24. Outrage erupted online, with people saying that country music is racist and that they don't want a black artist on the country charts, and Billboard addressed that by saying the song incorporates references to country and cowboy imagery, but does not embrace enough elements of today's country music to chart in its current version. So what does embracing enough country elements mean? Clearly they're not referring to the lyrics and imagery, because that's about as country as it gets, right? And they admit that it has references to country and cowboy imagery, so they must be talking about the instrumentation or the beat. And it definitely is a hip-hop song because of the beat, right? But that's where the lines get a little blurry, because if you're just determining that it's a hip-hop song because of the beat, then let's take a look at the longest running #1 Billboard country songs of all time. Last Night by Morgan Wallen. It has 808 drums and the classic hip-hop snap that was popularized in the crunk/snap era. Body Like a Back Road by Sam Hunt. Oh, that's a little baby 808 and yet another snap. Meant to Be by Bebe Rexha and Florida Georgia Line. I'll be damned. I'm seeing a pattern here. And those are the most popular country songs of all time according to the Billboard charts. So here's some more data that'll blow your mind. Just 2.3% of ACM awards and 1.6% of Country Music Award nominees between 2000 and 2019 were people of color. Country radio played 11,484 songs from 2002 to 2020, and roughly 1% of those songs, or a total of 133, were by black artists. And that number gets even lower when you factor in how many of those songs were by women of color. Of the 11,484 country radio songs played from 2002 to 2020, only 23 were by black women. Mickey Guyton's 2000.
All right, so I want to speak on that. I get it. I understand where he's coming from, but you could flip that the other way. You could say there's a lot of white artists who rap, female, that rap, so don't get no play on hip hop radio stations. Not at all. So it's the same.
2015 single Better Than You Left Me stands as the highest charting country song by a black woman this century, peaking at number 30. That is until Beyonce broke that record in 2024, with a handful of her songs from her album Cowboy Carter breaking into the top 30 on the country charts, as well as becoming the first black woman in history to achieve a #1 album on the Billboard country charts. Then Shaboozey, who's another black country artist, dethroned her spot, making it the first time two black artists have led the Hot Country Songs chart back to back since the chart's creation in 1958. Currently, the #1.
Man, I tell you, man, niggas will go anywhere, take over. Damn, niggas invading country.
Song on the Billboard Hot 100 for the past 5 weeks is a bar song by Shaboozey, which at first listen may sound like your stereotypical mainstream country song. However, it samples and interpolates an early 2000s hip-hop banger called Tipsy by Jaquan. And this fusion of hip-hop and country is not going to be some one-off hit like Old Town Road. Shaboozey is here to stay, and he's going to be one of the prime examples of somebody who bridged the country and rap fan bases together and thrived doing so. Shaboozey's story is so interesting because for the first 7 years of his career, he was a rapper. His 2022 album had a straight-up drill record on it. So why did his career explode when he went full-on into country? Did he always want to make country? Did he only pursue rap because he felt like he wouldn't thrive in country music as a black artist? I mean, now we know the data was heavily stacked against him. Now, while some people might think the whole point of this video was for me to say, country music's racist, that's not the point. Although, there is some skeletons in that closet for sure. I'm just trying to say that with the rise of all artists in the pop or rap genre, dipping their toe in country or maybe just deciding to pursue country music as a whole will lead to a much more diverse fandom, which will then lead to more fans becoming interested in the genre as a whole because they won't necessarily feel alienated or unaccepted in the genre. Or they won't feel like, oh, I just can't relate to this genre at all. More specifically, as hip-hop artists as a whole doing crossover collaborations, that will slowly chip away at the people who are like, oh, I'll never listen to country music, and they will start to change their minds, which will lead to more diverse concerts and festivals and hopefully bring back some of that beauty we had in the 90s and 2000s where MTV would play a pop song, then a rock song, then a rap song, then a country song, and we listened to all of it. Like, I'll stand by the fact that the early 2000s was probably the most diverse time for mainstream music, and at festivals you had like crazy lineups of different artists. You had literal rap fans listening to like AFI and emo music. We were diverse. Maybe Morgan Wallen, Shaboozey, and Post Malone will headline festivals with Big X the Plug, JID, and Future. So yeah, if I didn't make it abundantly clear, I just think that country and rap colliding is a good thing. Don't forget to check out my music marketing newsletter. Link is in the description. I'm giving out marketing gems every single week. You don't want to miss out.
Yeah, man. This is the 6 o'clock show. That was a pretty good video, man. I always respected country music. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna say and say I liked it, but I respected it until I start getting into music heavily. Then I start seeing that there's a lot of good country artists out there. I think that if you do have a mashup concert, most people would go and you can cross genres. I think country music and hip hop music will fuse, and there are going to be a lot of people from one genre jumping into the next, if that ever hasn't already happened for the most part. So, but yeah, man, I thought that was a pretty interesting video. I wanted y'all to see that. So, make sure y'all comment, post, you know what I'm saying? Share this content. Help me out reach 1 million subscribers. Thank y'all so much for the donations too. I really appreciate y'all, man. Y'all have yourself a good night, and I'll see y'all in the morning.